Hey, this is Jonas from you.
And this is Johan from you, and you're listening to K
103.
And you've been around since '94.
Yeah, some
More or
people
less,
say
yeah.
94, some people say 95. I'm not really sure actually when we started the band.
No, I can't remember, but
Yeah.
it's one of those two.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the most notable differences with the band since the start until today?
Well, we've gained some experience, and some wisdom maybe.
Mhm.
Not a lot, but a little bit of wisdom. And I think that the thing we set out to do is pretty much the same as what we're trying to do now, which is to create the music that we feel is necessary to create, and to keep doing what we love to do, which is play music and be able to travel the world with it, and express ourselves.
So you have released 6 albums,
Yeah.
with the latest one just under 2 months ago, or exactly 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Actually. What does your type of music make you stick out from any other band, and what does the latest album have that sticks out from the rest of your albums?
Good question. I think we always, actually from the very first record we did, we're lucky that we had kind of our own little thing going on sound-wise and the way we wrote songs. And obviously on the first record you can maybe hear a little bit more influences that we grew up with musically, but there was just something quite magical about the four of us playing together, and we sort of had our own little. We were basically not good enough when we started out as players, so we couldn't learn anybody else's songs. So we had to write our own songs way from the start because it was easier, kind of.
Yeah. We didn't know what chords were.
It was pretty. Yeah. And that, I think, just gave us kind of our own little thing, and I think it's something you can always kind of hear if it's a MEW song for some reason. I think it's got to do with Jonas's voice and sort of the atmosphere it creates. The new record is kind of maybe, I think, if it draws on anything in terms of inspiration, I think it draws on our own work, when you've done 6 records, you kind of have your own thing, and it was nice actually going back into the back catalog and sort of looking at what we do well and what don't we do so well, and try and sort of get the good stuff from the past on the new record.
I think also on the new record we kind of trusted more than ever that no matter what kind of path we follow on each song, it's going to sound like MEW, so it's become a very diverse album. Has very different, it has kind of all the aspects of everything we've been trying to do over the years.
Yeah, almost.
So with this band, compared to like previous projects or side projects, what makes this band so special, and what do you think you can do with this that you can't with others?
I don't know. I don't really see it as a competition. I think for me it's mostly about just kind of capturing all the stuff that kind of floats up to the surface and trying to capture as much of it as possible and put it into a context that gives it meaning, I don't really think I think it's wrong to say I don't think about other artists. I do, because I enjoy other artists, but I don't really see it as anything to do with us, it's kind of separate. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I just think it's a matter of the chemistry between, all bands are different because of the combination of people involved, but I think in our case it's just a matter of that once the music sort of goes through the filter of all 4 of us, and it just becomes this thing that none of us individually would have been able to sort of come up with, and I think that's the beauty of a band is that you're more people and everybody sort of chips in with what they're good at, and that becomes the sum of like 3 or 4 brains instead of just one, and it's just we just sound the way we sound because we're us, kind of. Even it sounds a bit cliche, but it is kind of true,
So being from Denmark, how much of a difference would you say your local music scene has compared to any other country you've been touring in? And how difficult is it for a local band to get noticed?
I think it's become a lot better. When we first started out, it was almost unheard of. It was unheard of for a Danish band to make any impact internationally, at least for a rock band or a non-aqua band. But there's bands like us and the Ravenettes. We were some of the first bands to get signed internationally and kind of tour the world. But I think it's much better now. There seems to be, to be honest, confidence. And most of the bands were really shit back then, really. They were kind of just trying to rip off whatever was happening in the UK scene. At least those were the bands that got signed to major labels. And a lot of the underground stuff, they just didn't really have the
work ethic.
Yeah, or they didn't get the push to make it really, So now you have a lot of people with very unique approaches to music working and actually making an impact. So I think it looks a lot brighter now than it did.
Yeah, cool.
So, except for touring, what's next for the coming year? Do you have anything planned? No, anything that you haven't done yet, maybe?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we've done the record, so it is kind of it is what it is. We're a touring band, and that's kind of how we promote the records. And we're going all over the place, and hopefully it'll be really enjoyable. I'm particularly looking forward to touring America. I've never done that, and it's going to be fun, I think. And it's just it's the routine. You make a record, you go and tour it. That's it's not rocket science, but it's our job. It's what we do.
And there's always stuff happening. It's weird stuff often when you're a band, and all of a sudden you're filming something for something, and you're wearing weird things. It's just sometimes you think to yourself, that's kind of a strange job you have. But that's also really enjoyable, and there's bound to be lots of stuff like that happening over the next year or so. So we look forward to that.